Good afternoon, BookTube, YouTube. This is Johnny again. I'm making a second video for October the 6th, 2022, which is very rare. But something came in the mail this afternoon that that some of my people who watch my videos are into the 17th century English Puritans. And I get emails and I get people from Facebook who say, I've been watching your videos and I noticed that you're into the Puritans. And so we carry on some dialogue. I also got in the mail today the new Lamb Chop CD, The Bible. It's not about the Bible. I don't know why he calls it the Bible. But when I get a CD, what I try to do, I'll show you in a minute, I take the wrapper off. I've been listening to this from my Amazon Music place. You know, when you buy something from Amazon, they download it in MP3 into your computer. But I try to save these stickers. See these stickers in the back? See it? And what I try to do is peel them off. Now sometimes I have to cut them out. This one is going. So I stick them off. So now it's off the plastic. And now I have just the sticker. See the sticker? And what I do with it, I have my diary for the first folder of October, and I put it in my diary. Like that, see? Excuse me. So I put that in there. And I've been writing in my diary. My wife called this morning, well, about 11 o'clock. I was outside when she called. I was working on the flower garden, raking up all the dead flowers and plants and weeds. And I came in, and when my wife, she's in Door County, Wisconsin, and when she goes there, she doesn't go there every year with her girlfriends, but there's a used bookstore. And she was there, and she's looking at the books, and she was looking at biographies. I'm taking off my socks. My feet are hot. So she was looking at the biographies at this used bookstore, and she said, "Do you want this? Do you want that?" And these are the ones she found for me. And the first, she found 4 biographies: Olympia, The Life of Victor Hugo by Andre Morose. Melbourne, who was a prime minister a time of Queen Victoria in England. Melbourne by David Cecil. I have a biography of David Cecil on Chanel. And then there was Melrex by Axel Madison, who was I have books by him. He wrote the Anti-Memoir. He wrote a book on the Spanish Civil War. I don't know why I'm coughing. And then she found a biography by Penelope Fitzgerald called The Knox Brothers. So she bought those for me. So I'm into biographies and diaries, letters, autobiographies, and I have more biographies. Well, I have more fiction than biographies. It's like one thing, I don't know why I'm coughing. So anyway, the mail came, and I thought I'd show you what came in the mail. First of all, What came in the mail was another book I had ordered by Victor Serge, Men in Prison by Victor Serge. This was translated by Richard Grieman, who also worked on this one. I've been reading The Last Times by Victor Serge. Introduction by Richard Grieman. I'm almost done with this. I should finish this today. So I got this in the mail. Men in Prison, which is a novel or autobiography. The book is literature. For Serge was a wonderful writer. Everything in this book is fictional. Everything is true, wrote Victor Serge in the epigram to Men in Prison. I have attempted through literary creation to bring out the general meaning of the human content of personal experience. I don't know, I really enjoy Victor Serge's writings. I've been collecting all of them the last couple of years. So what did I get in the mail that is Puritan? Well, this is the box. Now, first of all, I'll show you the box. I opened it up, the box, and I'm really surprised it came so early. I mean, I ordered this a couple of days ago, and it used to take a while before I would get books from Reformation Heritage, but this came right away. And this is what it is. I'll show you. It is this. It is a new edition of Stephen Charnock's The Existence and the Attributes of God, which was a very famous Puritan work. It's been reprinted. I'll show you the copy I have. This is a new edition of it. And what this is, it's been modernized and reset, the type, and it's been edited to it's been edited by a scholar in English Puritanism. They also been doing, this is by Crossways, also reprinting the works of John Owen, which was the prince, or the prince of the Puritan divines. They're reprinting all of his works and re-editing them. I have John Owen's works, but I'm not sure if I'm going to start buying those. But I was really curious about this set, of how they were going to do it, and I wanted to see. It says here, Stephen Charnock classic work Discourse upon the Existence and Attributes of God is one of the most extensive and practical works of theology on the doctrine of God, written to instruct and encourage Christian pastors, theologians, and laypeople. Each discourse has been carefully modernized by editor Mark Jones, who prefaces each discourse with an introductory summary. In this clear and updated presentation of this classic work, readers will explore the depth of God's nature with Charnock as their theological guide. This volume includes 1 through 8 on God's existence, 2 on practical atheism, 3 on God's being a spirit, 4 on spiritual worship, 5 on the eternity of God, 6 on the immutability of God, 7 on God's omnipresence, and 8 on God's knowledge. Stephen Charnock, he lived in 1628 and he died in 1680, was a prominent English Puritan theologian and preacher in England and Ireland during the 17th century. Trained in Cambridge and Oxford, he served as chaplain to Henry Cromwell. The chief governor of Ireland, is known for his discourses on the existence and attributes of God. Now, volume 2, which is bigger, is on, this volume includes 9 on the wisdom of God, 10 on the power of God, 11 on the holiness of God, 12, the 12th discourse on the goodness of God and on God's dominion, and 14 on God's patience. So this is the one. Now, when I when I was in Bible college, a deacon at a church that we attended in Grand Rapids, Free Reform, which was a Free Reform church by Reverend Pronk, there was a deacon there who gave out to Bible students books, and he gave me one time the Baker edition of The Existence and Attributes of God. And you can see that it's very small print, and this print is a lot bigger. You can see the change. A lot clearer. It's been modernized. This edition was first published in 1853. This edition, well, it's the reprint of the 1853 edition. This is a brand new edition, modernized. It's been highly organized. Like, it just looks really easier to read, bigger print. It's been edited by Mark Jones. And so that's why I got it, because I read these, many years ago, I had a 1-volume edition of The Existence and Attributes of God that was published by Sovereign Grace. And I sold those, or I gave them away when I was in Bible college, because they gave me, this set came out. Also, the Band of Truth Trust, they published volume 5 of Stephen Charnock's works. These are really considered volumes 1 and 2. And this is considered volume 3, the Stephen Charnock's works. And then you have Stephen Charnock's volume 4. Now, volume 3 of Charnock's works is called The New Birth. And what this whole volume is on regeneration. Now, Baker Bookhouse many years ago published in a paperback an abridged or a selection from this volume on the new birth, because in this volume, Stephen Charnock looks at the necessity of regeneration, a discourse on the nature of regeneration, a discourse on the efficiency or efficiency of regeneration, and then he has a discourse on the Word, the instrument of regeneration, a discourse on God's being the author of reconciliation, a discourse of the cleansing virtue of Christ's blood. So that's in this. And then he has volume 4 is on the knowledge of God. And here you have a discourse a discourse on the knowledge of God, a discourse on the knowledge of God in Christ, a discourse on the conviction of sin, discourse of unbelief, proving it to be the greatest sin, a discourse on the misery of unbelievers, a discourse showing who are unbelievers, a discourse on the end of the Lord's Supper, and it goes on and on. A discourse on Christ our Passover, a discourse on the unworthy receiving of the Lord's Supper, and this just goes on and on. So then you have volume 5, Truth in Life. I think what this one is a discourse on necessity of Christ's death, a discourse on necessity of Christ's exaltation, a discourse on Christ's intercession, a discourse on the object of faith, a discourse of afflictions, a discourse on the removal of the gospel, a discourse on mercy received, a discourse of mortification. This goes on and on. A discourse or delight in prayer, a discourse of mourning for other men's sins, a discourse for the comfort of childbearing women, a discourse on the sins of the regenerate, a discourse on the pardon of sin, man's enmity to God, the chief sinners, objects of the choicest mercy. So these are kind of like sermons. So I highly recommend the works of Stephen Charnock. You can still buy them from the Band of Truth. A good introduction to the Puritans is Meet the Puritans, with a guide to modern reprints by Joel R. Beakey and Randall J. Peterson. This is a good book to have. So that's it. I wanted to show you my new edition of The Existence and Attributes of God by Stephen Charnock. Can't go wrong reading Stephen Charnock. I've been reading him for, I don't know, since 1976 I've been reading Stephen Charnock. And I look forward to digging into these. It's one thing in these last days when you look around the global warming and hurricanes and wars and threat of war and dictatorships and political upheaval in America. What we ought to do is fix our eyes on God. He is the high and exalted one. He rules the heavens and the earth, and he has a plan, and he's accomplishing his purposes. And it's a good thing just to meditate on the existence and the attributes of God by reading Stephen Charnock. So I thought I'd just show those to you. Forgive me for coughing, I know but hey, this is real. I'm just being real. So check out the Bible by Lamb Chop. Check out the writings of Victor Serge. Read Stephen Charnock. Write in a diary. And yeah, so I hope you're having a good day. And until next time, bye.